Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and I came across Fairlight Tarot earlier doing a video, and I thought I would go ahead and do a tag to that. She didn't deem it as a hashtag, but I'm putting it in as a hashtag, and then I'll post her video below once it uploads. But it's that one card that either makes or breaks your deck. Basically, one card that either almost kept you from buying it, or the card that made you buy it. So I'm sure I have plenty more here, but to keep this short and sweet, because I've done a couple other videos today, and it is 12:58 a.m. On Saturday. I can't sleep, so we're doing videos. So I decided to go ahead and just keep it simple at 10 decks. I'm only doing tarot. I may do oracle at some point. My cat's just off camera running around. So without further ado, he just knocked something off the table. Jumping down. Oh my gosh, he's crazy. So without further ado, let's get this started. So for the first deck, I have, of course, my baby, my sweetie, my Light Seers Tarot. This is by the Hay House version. Looks like it's banged up there on the side, trying to come apart. Oh wow, it is coming apart. I don't like that. These are the backs. I etched it in this teal. I love this deck for so many reasons. It's beautiful. It's my soul deck. I love it to pieces. If I could only ever have one deck, it would be this one. But the card that tipped me over the edge, which I've said many times, I actually just think I said it in a video earlier today that I uploaded, was a card that I had been stalking, and I couldn't figure out why I was stalking it until I saw this deck on Lisa Pepe's channel. She had it as she had the indie version, and I'm like, ooh, what is that? And then I saw this card in the deck, and I immediately bought it, got it. It's the third tarot deck I ever bought, and I realized once I started working with this deck and why I was obsessed with the Eight of Swords throughout several decks is because I was this girl, but I was still seeing myself tied up and no options, and it opened up a whole new world of thinking for me, which was insane. Which is why I realized when I did that this is my soul deck. Because the Eight of Swords is and I had been looking for it, like unconsciously looking for this card in decks, and I'm like, why? And then I got this deck, and it opened my eyes to why I was still seeking this card out. It was because I still saw myself as this person that had no options, and it made me realize I had options. So that is deck one, or card one, I should say. So deck two is my Encore Tarot by Cheryl Marchetti. First of all, these are the backs. It is etched in this gorgeous red gilding. Hold on one second. And I saw this deck. I wanted it, and it was out of print. And I was like, so sad. I didn't even mind that it had borders. The coins or pentacles are green bordered. The majors are gray bordered. Look at that moon. Look at the Strength card. Oh my gosh. The wands are red bordered. The cups are this autumnal brown. Swords are blue. And I was like, this is so stunning. So beautiful. Look at that hermit. So beautiful. And the thing that tipped the scales for me to purchase this deck was the last card here. I'm going to show you. I love her dress. The moon card. That is forever my favorite moon card. Because there is a sense of freedom in this. She does not care that she's naked. She's bearing it all to the world, and there's something, we're bearing it all to the moon, and there's something about that primal need to bear all to the moon that just calls to me on some deep-seated level. And I love the moon. I've taken many, many long walks in the night when there's full moons. It's just, it's stunning, and I love it. And I applaud her for being naked and bearing all. And then she's broke apart from the wolf. And I almost feel like it's because she is the wolf. And I just, that kind of gives me chills. And then we got the crayfish at the bottom here. But that's a stunning, stunning moon card. And that's probably, so far, of all the many, many decks I've got, that's my favorite moon card ever. And I love it. 2 pieces. So that's card 2. Encore Tarot and the moon card. So deck 3 is, and these kind of went out of order because I had deck 1 was Light Seers, my favorite deck. This one I'm about to show you is my second favorite, and then Encore is my third favorite deck, which I just showed you out of order. But this is the Bone, Sun, and Earth Flesh Tarot. I literally just did a spread with it for the Deacon Walk. It's red gilded also. This is, look at that 3 of Swords. Oh my God. Look at the moon in that. Oh, the moon. She can draw, in a Taurian, man, she can draw a moon like nobody's business. Beautiful moons in this deck. Avalon Cameron is the creator. Anatolian is the artist. There's nothing about this deck I don't love and adore. But probably after I got it, and there's my kitty. He's just passing through. After I got it, I loved this, especially this death card. Love it. Love so many cards in this deck. But the deck that kind of tipped me to realize, in the Wheel of Fortune too, that this was a deep deck was the 4 of Pentacles. Probably one of my favorite cards in there. The first card that made me realize this was a deep, deep deck. Because she would rather waste away in this piece of crap room with all her jewels. She's got her crown on. She's got all her necklaces on, all her jewelry. She's wearing it. Would rather waste away hoarding all of her jewels than reaching, and she's trying to reach for the life there, the little branches. It just was so deep on how much we can hurt ourselves holding on to things. And that really struck me in this deck and forever changed my viewpoint on the 4 of Pentacles. And that was just crazy. And I'm like, yeah, this is a deep deck. Once I saw that, and I'm like, oh my God. So it kind of completely changed it for me. Changed things for me. So next we have, and I need to speed this up. Next, we have the Journey of the Sacred Bee. I have a similar experience with this deck. There's so many cards in here that are just stunning. Look at the teal gilding, teal bee. And then we have the stunning cards. This is more of a Thoth-based deck. I've said before, I've got this deck because it was nagging at me and saying, get me. And I'm like, I don't want you. And it's like, but you need me. By the time I got through my walkthrough, I was madly in love with this deck. I recognized how deep it was and how deep it's continuously been I call it my Hierophant deck, the deck that is my ultimate teacher, that teaches me every time I use it. It opens my eyes to new things. And the card that really started that was the Five of Discs, or the Five of Pentacles. The keyword is worry. And I'm pretty sure it's Taurus in, I want to say Saturn. I can't remember. But normally we see somebody out in the cold and not doing very well. And here the door is open. And I literally heard a voice say, all you need to do is walk through the door. It's there. It's open. It's ready for you. And I was like, what? And so that sent me down a whole rabbit hole. And clearly the bee is going through the door. It's open. And it just that few words changed my whole concept of this card. And then it was like, well, it's keeping me from going in the door. Is it fear? What am I fearing? And so it literally sent me down a rabbit hole. But it forever changed how I see this card, that there's always a way through the door. And I love that. So that was the Journey of the Sacred Bee Tarot. Amazing, beautiful. And there's so many other cards in there that open my mind up to different possibilities. That was just the catalyst that started it for that deck. So, next we have the Tarot of Oneness, and I've talked about this many times. And I'm just going to show it to you. I mean, the deck is gorgeous. I'll show you here how pretty. I've talked about this like a lot. Gorgeous deck. But the Perception card, or the Hangman, is the card, and it's peach gilded also. And the back's beautiful. It actually conjured up a memory I had of my daughter, or of me, when I was trying to figure out what I should do when I was pregnant with my daughter. And I was in a very bad relationship. Things were horrible in my life. I was pregnant, had no job, no money, could not figure out how I was going to raise my child. Her father was quite abusive. And then I went to and I lived in Albuquerque at the time, and I went to the Hot Air Balloon Festival. And even if it was just for the one day, it was something so spectacular. I've never forgotten it. And so when I saw this card, I almost started bawling. And I immediately bought the deck because of this card. But there's so many other cards in here that allude to, past memories and things. And it was just like, wow. I mean, it's been almost 30 years since then, and everything's worked out now. But at that moment, I needed that festival to continue on, which was crazy. So next we have, this is going to be difficult. The next couple are going to be difficult because these are decks that I almost did not buy because of these cards. This is the Tarot of the Cosmic Seed, 2nd edition. I am terrified of snakes. Teal, beautiful gilding. The backs are no longer the snakes, which I loved. Love the cardstock. However, there's 2 cards in here that have snakes on them. Neither of those cards change. And I heard some cards change. I don't know what cards changed because I don't have the 1st edition. I adore this deck other than those 2 cards. One of them is the Death card, which I don't mind because it's a purple snake. It almost looks cartoonish, and I can almost live past it. But my Forever Stalker card is the 5 of Wands, and it has this guy. And I can't. I pull it, and I'm just like, ugh. That card is almost the card that kept me from buying this deck. I don't pull it as often as I thought I would in this deck, but considering it's my Forever Stalker card. But I think it knows I can't work with this deck if I pull that card. But I do not regret buying this deck just because it's so stunning otherwise. It's a great medium mystic reader. Just fantastic. And I've used it quite a bit. I've honestly only pulled that card like twice so far. Okay, so that was the Tarot second. Okay, so next we have another deck I almost did not buy because of a snake. The Dream Keepers Tarot. This is the mass market edition. There is a indie edition. I think it's out of print. Long been out of print. And I saw this on Kitten's Waits and Tarot channel long time ago when it was an indie. Just an indie before it went mass market. Love this Temperance card. This is funny because this is the card that made me buy the deck, but the card I'm going to show you is the card that almost made me not buy it. So there's a card that forced me to buy it. Love the Three Fates or the Wheel of Fortune in here. It's just stunning deck. Great for dream interpretations. It kind of knows my dreams, this deck. But the card that made me almost not buy it is this Strength card with the snake. Not only is it a snake, but it's wrapped around her body, and I was flipping out when I saw that in this deck. But the book talks about how the snake is supporting her and holding her up in times of dire stress where she can't hold herself up. The snake is there to hold her up. And it was so beautifully written that I've learned to look past it, even though it still gives me the creeps really bad, because that is my worst nightmare, being ate by a snake. So yeah, so that's over. Okay, so the bad's over. We have 3 decks left. So we have next we have the Fairlight Tarot, and I have 2 cards in here that almost had me running for the hills. This is Low Scare Barrow Tarot. This is it says Carpe Diem, F Pinter on the back. Extra cards. The Wheel is another one. I'm just like, oh God. Oh God. I love this deck. It is a shadow work deck for me. It is beautiful. It is stunning. It is Frederick Pinter's artwork turned into a tarot deck. He's been passed away like 9-10 years now. The artwork is stunning, and as soon as it came out, I bought it. But then we have these 2 cards, the 5 of Pentacles and the Chariot. The Chariot, I had a very visceral, oh my God, reaction, because as a Virgo, I like everything in its place. I like everything running smoothly. If one wrench is thrown into my day at work, I am having a horrible day. This Chariot broke off from the horses, and that was just, my mind just screamed chaos when I saw this, and I'm just like, what is happening? And then this card, I've actually been in this where there's a little girl in the room. She's finally made it into the room, but she's still in this mindset of lack, of I didn't make it, I don't have things I need. And I've been in this exact situation before. There's alcohol on the table. Of course, alcohol may be involved in her mindset, but I've been in that situation, and that freaked me out so bad. I'm like, oh my God, this is literally taking one of my darkest moments in my life and putting it in a card, and it freaked me out. And I'm like, I don't know if I can work with this deck. But then, miraculously, I was able to realize or recognize, and probably because I've had shadow work before, this was something I needed to work through. And once I worked through them, these cards don't bother me anymore. So, but I love this deck. It's the Fairlight Pinter Tarot by Low Scare Barrow. It is a great shadow work deck if you're wanting one. Great shadow work. So, getting close to the end here. I have 2 left. So the next one is, and I keep it in a pouch because it is a Low Scare Barrow tuck box, which has long been broken. Because I use the crap out of this deck. It is the Universal Celtic Tarot. This is all the extras. Oh my gosh. I've edged it in green. This is the back. That was my cat losing his mind. It's stunning. It's a stunning deck. I love it. 2 pieces. There's kind of 2 cards in here that, well, there's one. I love this Empress, first of all. But this Eight of Swords is the reason I bought this deck. The sole reason. And then I saw the Empress, and I'm like, oh yeah. The Eight of Swords, as we talked about before, is usually a card of being trapped, being blindfolded. She has wings, and she's holding two of the swords like, yeah, right, I'm not beholden to anybody. And I love that mindset. And I love how the flowers are like kind of covering all of her important spots. It's a stunning, stunning card, and I love it. Love it. And then she's got this wisdom behind her with the owl. It's a stunning card. And it's what immediately had me buying this deck before I saw any other cards. And I have not regretted it because it is a stunning card. It's a very earthy Virgo deck, which I'm a Virgo, so yeah. I love that deck. It's in my top 10 favorite of all time. Last deck. It is the Herb Crafters Tarot by US Games. I've talked about this deck recently. I love this deck. I love the cardstock. Love it. These are the backs. I've talked about how this deck brings out like past life memories for me of how to work with these herbs and things. It's remarkable how that happens. But I was not even going to buy this deck. And I'm like, I don't need an herb deck. That's stupid. Love that. I just love this deck, though. Was not going to buy it. I'm like, I don't need this deck. It's stupid. I don't need an herb deck. And then I saw the Nine of Water, the peach card. I'm like, I need this deck. This is the card that made me buy this deck. And I have not regretted it. It is stunning. It is beautiful. If I had not saw this card and bought the deck, I would not have realized that some past life is triggered when I use this deck. I don't walk around going, oh, I know what this herb and this herb means, because I have no idea. But when I use this deck, parts of that past life are coming through. And I remember for a split second what this is for, what it can cure, and all these other things. And it's amazing to me. So without the peach card and how beautiful it is, I would have never bought this or known that. And I've since then bought a few other herb related decks, and they do the same thing for me that this deck does. It triggers that past life memory. It's like a scent memory. So that is all the decks I have for now that are one card in there is what tripped me or triggered me to purchase the deck, or almost made me not buy the deck. I still bought it, but I got over it, or still trying to get over the snake thing, but I doubt I will ever fully be over that because I did die of a snake bite in a past life. So that's part of my issue. But yeah, that is all the decks I have to show you for now. I will post a link to Fairlight Tarot's video below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good night.